Welcome to the course Ethics in Business Communication, prepared at International Auto University Business and IT College by Aykerim Sagınbekova. Lesson 3: Business Communication. Lesson outline: Concept of communication, characteristics of communication, importance of communication. The two words of information and communication are often used interchangeable, but they signify quite different things. Information is giving out, communication is getting through, said Sidney Harris. So let's today try to understand what is the communication. Let's imagine that you are screaming in forest. Can it be a communication? What do you think? Of course not. So, in order to be a communication, let's try to understand in what situation it is a communication. For the communication, we need a person one, then it is a sender of the message, we can say, and we need for the other person who is a receiver, who will receive the message and will try to understand. So let's see the genesis of communication. The Latin verb communicare, which means to impart or to share or to make common, participate. English word common, which means that whatever is common is shared by all. Information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. From this picture we can see that, for example, the person sending the information by codifying the tree, and second receiver is receiving this message as decodifying that it is a tree, and of course they are sending a feedback to that receiver. What is a business communication? Business communication, a necessary component of human life, is meaningful for communication partners not in itself, but as a way of organizing and optimizing one or another type of substantive activity, industrial, scientific, commercial, etc. Business communication is a process of establishing and developing contacts between people generated by their joint activities. 7 C's of effective communication at the company. First one, it is a completeness of information. So firstly, information should be completed. Consciousness of message. Concreteness in presentation. Courtesy toward recipient. Correctness of facts. Consideration for the receiver, and clarity of expression. So all of these 7 are one of the important rules of good business communication. Principles and essentials of effective communication. The first principle, it is choose the right means and mode according to what kind of information we are sending and what kind of person we are talking. We should choose the right means and mode. Depend on the organization, its size, its policy, cost involved, urgency, distance, resources available, confidentiality, safety, security, necessity for the official record of the communication, the recipient, and the resources available. It is one of the first main rules, principles. The other principle, it is own your message. It is important to take responsibility for what we say. It is common to come across instances where the sender chooses vague or general terms to denote the sender. Other principle, it is offer complete and relevant information. So while we are sending information, it should be completed and relevant information according to that. Incomplete information makes it necessary to begin another cycle of communication to issue clarification. For example, the register will remain closed from 28th to 30th March. So do you think it is clear or not? Is it completed or not? So we should clarify here what kind of registration, why it is closed, etc. So here is clear just the date, but what about the place and about the issue? The other one, it is obtain feedback. Feedback is a culmination of the communication process. It confirms that the receiver has correctly understood our message. We may get a feedback through an appropriate closing. The closing line of business letter often invites such a response. So let's imagine that you wrote a message but you didn't receive a feedback. Is it that did they receive it your message or not? That's why feedback, it is also one of the main points. Other principle is about the thinking of the recipient. Effective messages are invariable, you-centered. We don't address the president of our company in the same manner as we speak to a fellow manager. The rank of the former demands careful thought and respect, so we should think about who is the receiver of our message. Verbal and nonverbal congruence. Our words as well as gestures simultaneously send out signals. A message of welcome should ideally be uttered with a smile. Angry words are spoken with frown. To put in another way, our words and facial expressions must send out similar messages. So we should think about what kind of verbal and nonverbal means we are sending through our message. The other principle, it is a repeat if necessary. Repetition is generally avoided in order to save time and space. However, in exceptional circumstances, repetition ensures that the crucial part of the message is not ignored or overlooked. The other is don't judge. Unfavorable judgments provoke reactions and are better avoided. If a subordinate hasn't finished the work allotted to him on time, the boss has two options. He may either point out this fact in a plain and matter-of-fact tone, or may reprimand him for being lazy, good-for-nothing guy who should be fired immediately. The first option is clearly preferable and strengthens the credibility and trustworthiness of the sender. So, judging, it is one of the stopping points of the communication. That's why it is better always try to not judge, not to criticize, and etc. And other example, it is a rely on facts. Facts lend credibility to our communication, since it is not possible to refute them. If a candidate claims that he has a typing speed of 50 words per minute, it is possible to verify this claim. So this is all of them are principles of effective communication in the business. And while we are using all these principles, I think that we will be more successful in the communication at workplace or with the partners, with our stakeholders. Thank you for your attention, dear students. See you next lesson.